You saw it, and I don't blame you for still feeling raw about it. In Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence scrambled, stumbled, and somehow found his way into the end zone with 23 seconds left, and one split-second image of Chris Jones appearing to stop his pursuit turned into a viral moment that painted a much bigger picture for a lot of Chiefs fans. It wasn't just a missed play on a stat sheet. It felt like a failure of effort in a game-deciding moment, and that's why the backlash landed so hard. But here's the important part. Context matters, and perspective matters even more. Jones's explanation was straightforward. He said he genuinely thought the runner was down, and teammates quickly leapt to defend the man they see in meetings and practices every day. That's the difference between a highlight clip and the full tape. And for any fair-minded fan, the full tape is the thing that should carry more weight. Let's be specific about why people were frustrated. This wasn't a routine missed assignment. It happened at the end of a tight game, and perceptions become magnified in those moments. When a household name like Chris Jones appears to stop chasing, fans assume the worst, and social media does the rest. But also remember, the locker room saw it differently. Jones owned the mistake publicly, which matters more than a lot of people give it credit for. Ownership restores credibility. Teammates like Omar Norman Lott voiced support after the next game, reminding everyone that Jones sets the physical tone for the defensive front. From inside the building, that endorsement carries serious weight. So the narrative shifted from "Did he quit?" to "How does he respond?" And that shift is exactly what you should be watching as a fan. When Sunday Night Football came around, it became a chance for Jones to respond without having to say much. The matchup against Detroit was as raw a test as you could ask for. A physical offensive line led by Penei Sewell, a team that prides itself on grinding out yards up the middle. All eyes were on Jones, and he answered the bell. From the opening series, he played like someone who took the criticism personally and then let his tape do the talking. He controlled the interior, absorbed double teams, and repeatedly won leverage, which collapsed pockets and indirectly pressured Jared Goff into making off-platform throws. Those plays don't always show up as sacks, but they're the kind that change the feel of a game. Detroit's offense had to adjust. More chips, more doubles, which freed up other parts of the Chiefs' defensive front to make plays. That's how an elite interior disruptor impacts a game even when he's not lighting up a stat line. Beyond the tape, it was the body language that told the full story. Jones was vocal, active in communicating pre-snap, and consistently pushing the line to work as a unit. You could see the difference in the linebackers and the edge rushers. There was more confidence, more discipline, and a sharper, collective awareness. Teammates publicly credited his preparation that week, saying he was the first in film sessions and the most vocal during walkthroughs. Accountability followed by production. That's how trust gets rebuilt. And Jones didn't just deliver on physicality, he delivered in leadership. He admitted the mistake, and then he put out better tape immediately after. That's the textbook path back to credibility inside an organization. Now, let's zoom out and talk leadership, because this issue goes deeper than one play or one performance. Leadership in football is mostly invisible. It's the small habits, the pre-snap calls, the hand taps that tell younger players how to react. Jones has always been that kind of leader. When he's engaged, the whole front feels steadier. When he commands double teams, it allows linebackers like Nick Bolton to read and flow without being swallowed by blockers. When he maintains gap integrity, the secondary doesn't get exposed to scrambling QBs turning simple plays into explosive ones. That ripple effect is what makes him invaluable. The way younger defenders respond to his preparation is also critical. Rookies watching a veteran take ownership, learn, and then dominate the next week is a lesson that sticks forever. It shapes how they handle their own adversity later on. Schematic discipline is another piece of this puzzle. Steve Spagnuolo's unit has emphasized gap control over hero plays, and Jones has been central to enforcing that culture. Against teams that thrive on counters and misdirection, patience and discipline win out over chaos. Jones's Sunday performance showed he understands that. He didn't gamble for a single big play. He stayed home, anchored his gaps, and created pressure by being immovable at the point of attack. That's the kind of maturity that wins in the playoffs. For a team trying to remain dominant in an AFC, crowded with explosive offenses, that steadying presence is far more valuable than the occasional highlight reel sack. That said, fan sentiment will always be split after something like Jacksonville. Social media amplifies the worst moments, while the locker room's view is more nuanced. The facts are clear. Jones owned the mistake, teammates backed him, and then he put out a controlling performance the following week. For many fans, that's enough to move on. For others, trust will be earned back over time. Both reactions are valid. As a viewer, your job is to weigh accountability, context, and response, not just the most viral clip. If you want to participate right now, type "trust" in the comments. If you think one error doesn't change what Jones means to the defense, or type "worried" if you think it revealed something deeper. Here's another quick poll for you. Was his Sunday night showing enough to erase the Jacksonville play? Simple, yes or no. I'll pin the best takes. Personally, I view redemption as an action, not a statement. You redeem through discipline and dominance when the lights are on, and that's exactly what Jones did. If you agree, hit the like button and show some support for this defense that's quietly reestablishing its identity. Looking forward, there are a few concrete things to watch that will tell us whether this bounce back sticks. First, how do opponents scheme him? If teams keep chipping and sliding extra bodies his way, that's a sign of respect, but it also tests the depth of the defensive front. Second, look at consistent disruption up the middle. Jones doesn't need to lead the league in sacks, but he needs to consistently force pressure and hurried throws. Third, leadership moments. The small interactions between plays, the pre-snap calls, and the younger players' body language tell you if the locker room's confidence is intact. If those elements remain steady over the next 3 to 4 games, you can comfortably file Jacksonville as a closed chapter rather than a trend. So where does that leave us today? My read is simple. Jones is still a foundational piece of this defense. The Jacksonville play was a mistake, explained, owned, and immediately followed by the kind of disciplined, high-effort football we expect from him. The coaching staff didn't panic. They didn't send a message by benching a veteran. Instead, they trusted the process, and their trust was validated on the field. If Jones continues to play with the same discipline, winning leverage, staying gap sound, creating consistent pressure without gambling for splash plays, this will be a footnote in a season that could end up being very promising for Kansas City's defense. Before we wrap, I want one final quick interaction. Do you trust Chris Jones for the rest of the season? Yes or no? Drop your vote and one-sentence reasoning down in the comments. Also, leave a bold prediction for the defense. Top 10 in points allowed. Yes or no? I'll read the best answers and pin the top takes. And if you value honest, fan-first coverage like this, please do me a favor. Hit subscribe and help Total Chiefs News reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers. It's free, it supports the channel, and it keeps these breakdowns coming every week. Smash the like button if you think Jones's Sunday showed real accountability, and share this video with a fellow Chiefs fan who's still debating the Jacksonville play.